All right, let's see what we. Yo, I don't know if we're gonna get a picture here. I'm in a hotel. I'm waiting to see it. I've got a 30-second buffer. Tim Tan is live, and let's see. Looks like a picture might be showing up, but this stream health does not look good, even at a low data rate. Hotel Wi-Fi may not be our friend today in Mississauga, Canada. Tim, can you hear me? You may not be able to see me, but can you hear me? This could suck. Let me ask. Do you see a pic? Oh, I do see a picture here. Okay. So, stream health does not look good. Eyesight camera not cooperating very well. It looks like it's pretty crappy. You see my face. You see a very blurry version of my face. Well, let's just start it off and see what happens. Hey, everybody. Jem Schofield here with the C47. I've got Tim Tam Slam, or really Tim Tan Slam from Down Under. Memo Montesinos, Pinche Huevos. And I've got Robert. Slight delay, seems okay. So here we go. We'll just give it, we'll give it a shot here. We've got some people showing up, which is good. This is the first time I've done a late night live stream. It is not that late, but it's 10 p.m. here in Mississauga, Canada. Where is that? It's about 2 miles away from the Toronto airport, the main airport, YYZ. What? Seriously, Barry? You're right around the corner. We might have to get a scotch after this, but I'm really going to go to bed, I think. So I am here hanging out at the Sandman Hotel, which has a Denny's in the lobby area. That's not necessarily a good thing. It looks uncrappy. And this is a special episode for my friend Down Under, Mr. Tim Tan Slam, which is your new nickname. And I've actually done that before with the Slam. So why am I, does it look uncrappy or uncreepy, or does it look creepy, Robert? I think it's okay. We'll see how it goes. So why am I up here? Well, I'm up here because I'm doing ARRI or ARRI training. By the way, if you've never been to one of my live streams or seen any of the stuff on this channel, my name is Jem Schofield, thec47.com. All things production, depending on the day. If you like the content, subscribe. I have to say all that stuff, I think. Yeah, build this audience. I think, even though I haven't been doing this stuff for too long. Now, Barry is representing Mississauga, and I'm kind of representing it today. So I think I'm close to 1,000 subscribers, which is just nothing, but please subscribe if you're not subscribed, because that's good. Yeah, you need to bring some Tim Tam. Are you coming to NAB, Tim? You better come to NAB, and we better handle that. I was thinking about doing Tim Tam slams, but doing them into whiskey, or at least Irish coffee. I think that that would be something that we should try. I think that wouldn't be a problem. Cool. Okay, so I'm up here doing ARRI training. I'm starting to do some more stuff with the company, especially with their lighting division, but this is really camera training. And while I have used Alexas on projects in the past, it's not something very similar to the reeducation that I did last year that I had really dug into in terms of the color science and the operation of the camera, which, by the way, if you've never used an ARRI camera system, the whole idea is it's supposed to be simple. So all of these 4 million camera systems that we have, and let's go paint for days, that's not really what it's all about when you're using an Alexa Mini or an Amira camera. So for me, it's yep, Tim, we're going to do those Tim Tam slams, but in something other than just the regular liquid. So for me, it's, you know, it's about simplicity. That would be the ultimate Tim Tam slam. So if you don't know what a Tim Tam slam is, then go look it up. And then if you can get a hold of some, then do it. Okay, so ARRI. We already know that it's sort of the, you know, it's the image that a lot of people strive for. And there's been a lot of stuff that's happened with camera systems, especially in the last couple of years, where I think that companies like Sony and Canon have realized that, and they would be really happy to have their cameras be the B or the C camera on projects where maybe an ARRI camera is the A camera. So, so why is that? Well, it has a lot to do with the decision by the company as to how they were going to build a digital cinema camera from the evolution of their film cameras. And it's just a different mentality than maybe coming from a broadcast background. It doesn't mean that other camera companies aren't making fantastic cameras. It's just that the whole ecosystem and the whole company mentality at ARRI is really to build cameras that are used to help you tell stories. They're used to help you in your craft. And you know, you can say it's drinking the Kool-Aid, but the reality is that many of us would love to own or shoot on those cameras most, if not all of the time. They're not the right camera for every single project, but they are really important cameras, and they consistently are not only reliable, but they have the ability to produce really, really amazing images. So I'm sitting with an amazing cinematographer who's been in the industry for a long time. His name is Matthew Siegel, and having the opportunity to sit and learn from him and, you know, really dive into what these cameras are is really a treat for me, because most of the time I'm on the other side of it as an educator. And I want to take this knowledge and pass that on to you so that you can learn more about this, and I'm hoping that this relationship grows and that I can do more not only in the lighting but also in the camera and camera support and accessories area with this company. Because, you know, the reality is the C47 brand is not about one particular camera system, one particular light system. It is focused on craft. Yes, and I would, you know, a lot of people have heard, and Tim just made a comment about the simplicity of ARRI cameras or ARRI cameras, and I won't even try to pronounce it the way somebody from Germany or Austria would. I asked my friend, my step twin, to tell me how to pronounce it, and he just said I was wrong. It's simple. It's you know, set it up and let that kind of technical stuff get out of the way so you can just focus on capturing great images and telling good stories. So I open it up to some general questions. I won't be able to answer all of them. If you have them about the differences between the Mini, the Amira, and the you know, the main Alexa camera, the currently the SXT, But if you'd also like to just ask some general questions about cameras, lenses, lighting fixtures, please do that. It's probably not going to be as long as the last episode, which I think, well, last episode went for about half an hour. The one before that went for about an hour. But I do have to get to sleep, and last night was not a lot of sleep. I had to get up early and do some stuff. Next week, I'll actually be shooting RØDE on one of our camera systems and using the Otis family of lenses from ZEISS, so I'll be excited about that. Also creating some educational content. And Barry shoots on the Mini. So yeah, it's a great camera. I mean, I think that if it has an Achilles heel, besides maybe, you know, the fact that some of us are used to shooting on cameras that have smaller batteries that, you know, that can run for a lot longer, it's really the sound recording capabilities or lack thereof. It's not a camera system that was designed to really be taken out of the box and be used as a single system solution. It's really a double system solution. And that's kind of true with the SXT as well. The Amira is a little bit of a different camera. You know, a friend of mine, Matt Allard, shoots with the Amira a lot, and it's really well suited for people who are doing documentary, ENG style, and still, you know, the beautiful thing is that you have the same sensor in all of those cameras. So the consistency that you get when you're shooting ARRI is pretty phenomenal. We're used to seeing, you know, new sensors in new cameras from the same company all of the time. And that has its challenges, because even though you might be shooting with the same color gamut and the same, you know, gamma curve, log, for instance, the consistency from sensor to sensor isn't always there. I did Reducation in New York. That's not what I'm doing next week. I'm just shooting with a RØDE camera for part of an educational project that I'm doing. But what I'm really hoping is that in the near future that I get to shoot with at least the Alexa Mini and maybe a little bit with the Amira on some real world projects. Memo's asking about Nikon or look at Sony's perhaps. Yeah, Nikon last couple of weeks has been interesting. They basically decided not to pursue an entire product line, and I think they are in trouble, it seems to be. So I'm going to answer your question in a minute, Barry, about the workshops. It's a really good question. I mean, Memo, you're a still photographer, and it doesn't seem like video is really one of the core focuses for you. There are a lot of camera systems out there, and part of it is just the type of shooter that you are. I mean, I wouldn't discount at the moment Fuji camera systems, and I wouldn't discount some of the stuff that we're seeing with Olympus as well. If you're looking for hybrid in a small form factor, I think you are looking at Sony or possibly the new GH5 when it comes to market. But Memo, you're used to shooting currently with the Nikon system you have, because I know you and your friend, APS-C. So I'd probably say that you want to stick with that sensor size or go to full frame. If you go to Sony, you can go full frame, but generally there are crop modes if you want to go back to that essentially you know, sensor size or that, you know, angle of view in terms of when you use your lenses. But, you know, Fuji also has some amazing cameras there, and Olympus is making some really interesting stuff. I'm partial to the Fuji cameras because I really like the way that they function as stills cameras. And I have an XE2. It's not the fastest camera in the world in terms of the AF system and stuff like that, but I love the operation of it. And sometimes I don't want to take a 5D Mark III with me and just deal with, you know, an AF menu that's overly complicated in some respects. You know, they have great menu systems, but it's just, I want, again, simplicity. I want to get the technology out of the way and be able to use it a little bit more effectively. So to answer Barry's question, Barry's asking, is this workshop something ARRI or ARRI normally runs, and how do you get invited? Well, I think the easiest way to answer that is this is going to be part of something that ARRI is going to be doing more of in the future. Will be branded under ARRI Academy, and you can sign up for it. In fact, Matt Siegel is going to be coming back next week to Mississauga, and he's going to do a class specifically on Alexa and Alexa Mini, and I believe that's running next Thursday and Friday. It is a paid workshop, and it is evolving, and I am attending this as, I guess you would say, a dry run, and as an educator, giving some feedback, and then possibly in the future being involved in some form or another in terms of delivery of some of this content. Because again, you know, when we talk about my brand, that little logo down there, right there, and please again subscribe if you like the content here. You're welcome, Memo. Then you know, my brand is about teaching craft, and it's not about one particular camera or camera system or light or solution. It's about the evolution of what we're doing. And while I do create content for specific companies, what I love are the companies who let me have my own voice, and it's not a conflict for them, for me to, yes, understand the benefits of their system when I'm creating content for them, but the fact that they also understand that as the C47, I am and will continue to be a person who talks about other equipment. I mean, one example of that is Westcott. You know, just because I have a relationship with Westcott and I have designed a couple of lighting control systems for them with the C47 brand, and I do really like the Flex lights, there's an understanding that that I'm going to be using other lights, and I'm not playing you know, favorites in terms of these are the only lights that you can use. They're the lights that I use in a flexible LED format, but there are other lights that have some of those traits and features, and some of them are good solutions. And then there are, of course, lots of other lights in other form factors that I use from different companies. It is saying that the connection is slow. I'm getting a blinking light here, so hopefully that's not going to affect the quality too much, and we'll get through this. So Tim has a question. Saw a few posts. Oh, wait. So this is Robert first. Is ARRI RAW difficult to work with? Have you worked with ARRI ProRes files? The answer is ARRI RAW is not difficult to work with, but it is a data management challenge. It's, you know, the raw files are big and they take up a lot of space. And of course, when you're processing raw in post-production, it takes a lot of processing power. So it's difficult to work with from that standpoint. You really need a beast of a machine if you want to do it. At a certain point, what you're going to do is you're going to debayer, and you're going to turn that raw file into a video signal, and generally that's going to then apply, let's say, a log C curve for your gamma, and generally, you know, it's going to be in this wide color gamut, and then from there you can do what you want to do. Yes, ProRes files are easy to work with, and there's lots of different flavors of ProRes, and it's all the way up to the highest. So you can do ProRes 4444, and then it's ProRes 4444X. Is it XQ or Q? Yeah, it's XQ. So yeah, it's no big deal. Saw a few posts from people saying new ARRI cameras at NAB. Honestly, at least in terms of what I've found out or not found out up here, there's been no specific word about new cameras. It has been a little while, so if there are new cameras, I wouldn't be surprised. But the one thing that I've learned about ARRI over the years is they don't rush to market, and they take their time to make sure that they get it right. There's a reliability factor that has to be met, and there's an expectation from the end user in terms of what their camera systems are going to give them. So they're never going to put something out that has less in terms of what people were getting out of the system before, and they're just so damn good. It's ridiculous. And you know, the lenses and accessories, yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you know, we've got a standard PL mount for a lot of the stuff, and accessories. One of the things that people don't know is, of course, ARRI has a big lighting division, but they also have camera support and accessory division, and a lot of that stuff is being used not just with ARRI cameras, but a lot of other camera systems. I don't have a link, Barry, to next week's workshop. If you can do me a favor and go to the C47 website, go to the contact form and just ask for that request. When I'm in the class tomorrow, I will ask them for contact information and for a link so I can provide that to you, and then you can get a hold of them and inquire about that, because yeah, it sounds like you're already shooting and stuff. It is a paid workshop. I don't know the exact price, but you can inquire about all that kind of stuff, and there you go. All right, so what else do we have in terms of questions here before I zonk out and have dreams of the ultimate Tim Tam Slam, which I am going to partake in with Tim at NAB 2017. We have to find a time and a place, and this is important stuff, everybody. In fact, this may be the defining moment at NAB 2017. Who gives a crap about the new cameras and new lights and everything else like that? And I actually mean that pretty honestly. I mean, when I go to the show now every year, I believe that this is year 16 for me teaching at NAB. I don't get a lot of time outside of the classroom, but the time that I have is to see, you know, old friends and to meet new people. So I hope to have, again, a chance to do that. There's always people whom I see who are suffering from such bad jet lag. Clinton didn't even make the Kessler party last year. And then when Dan Chung from News Shooter and Photo Gear News was living in China, he would just, and he still does, even though he's in England, he kind of just falls asleep mid-sentence. And that's just the way it goes. And we all know it's going to happen, and it's kind of fun that way. So still a few people here. Do we have any other questions having to do with camera stuff? There it is. Tim found the link for you, Barry. This is what it's all about. Again, for me, what I really love about these live streams is the interaction with you guys. Makes it so much more interesting for me. Hopefully I get to answer some questions, and I do get to do that when you guys show up. The more people who subscribe, the harder it's going to be to answer your questions in real time, but I think that's part of the game. And in a couple of weeks, next week, we're doing some tests. I keep teasing this whole thing with Ben Barden and Caleb Pike. Next week, we're going to do some tests, and then hopefully the week after that, we're going to launch our new show, and then we're going to have more than just two eyeballs on this kind of you know, feedback, and we're going to be able to monitor that and hopefully answer a lot of questions. Tim wants to know which booths I'm talking at this year at NAB. I'll be in classrooms Saturday and Sunday before the show. I'm doing actually 2 field workshops. One is on corporate and in-house production. Another one is on lighting, cinematic video lighting. Those are both off-site. And then Monday, I will be at the Westcott booth all day, sneaking away every once in a while to see my friends and check things out. Tuesday, I will be teaching a class, which I believe will actually be on ARRI cameras. And And then on Wednesday, I'm doing a little presentation, I believe, for the Sky Panels in the B&H booth, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then we're going to shoot the show. Shoot the shit, shoot the show with Ben Barden and Caleb Pike. We don't know where we're going to shoot it. We need to have decent internet. And we want to shoot a show, I believe, on either Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday. And Tim, you'll have to tell me where you're going to be, and we're going to have to connect and when you're getting in and all that good stuff. We'll have to hang out a little bit. So any other questions from anybody before I sign off here? We're just shy of 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Weather was ridiculous today. It felt like spring here in February. Who said there's anything called global warming happening in the world? I really appreciate it. Thanks, Tim, for finding that link for Barry. That's what this whole thing is about, by the way, is community. It's about community, it's about education, and it's about sharing, and that's what I want to do. What was the app I'm using again? Oh, good. Yeah. So, Tim, the app that I'm using, and I'm just going to go ahead and go full screen with it and show you guys, is it's an app. Hold on one second. I'm probably screwing this whole thing up. Here we go. I'm totally screwing this up. Hold on, guys. The app is called Mimo Live, M-I-M-O. And I'll share my screen with you just for a second so you can see that. There it is. It is pretty friggin' cool. It even has this feature called Mimo Call, where it essentially creates a URL that you send to somebody. They paste that into their Chrome browser, and then it essentially grabs their camera and their audio feed, and they can become a camera source for the show that you are shooting with it. So Mimo Live, it's made by Boinx TV, BOINX.TV. You will be at the Bright Tangerine booth. Big surprise. I wonder if you guys can have any new stuff, but the Revolver follow focus system, by the way, World, is now shipping. I have not had my hands on it yet. I was trying to reach somebody to get one to show it on a rig for next week. I'm just saying. I have a shoot on Thursday and Friday in New Jersey, which is going to be with a red camera using the Otis lenses with the ZEISS lens gears. So if there's any way I can get one, we can use it as a prop. Not really a prop, we're actually going to use it. And I can get it back to you. Let me know, Tim, if that's a possibility. Just send me an email. Robert is a solo shooter, mainly with the C300 Mark II. I want to try an Alexa Mini for the image quality. Thanks for the live stream about this. Absolutely, Robert. You know, the C300 Mark II is no slouch either. It produces some very, very, very nice images. Good night, Pinche Huevos, Memo. You know, C300 Mark II makes some really nice images, and it's the right camera for a lot of different situations. And what's really fantastic about it is, you know, it's all compact, and it runs on, you know, a battery for days practically. That said, you know, we know that it's all about the Alexa in terms of image. And a lot of people say Amira. I mean, you know, you're getting the same image from the Amira camera. It's the same sensor. So just understand that. Maybe they should have called it the Alexa Amira or Amira Alexa. But you should definitely try it out, Robert. And of course, it is a different form factor, and it allows you to do certain things that you can't do as easily with the physical form factor of the C300 Mark II. Barry, I will definitely be doing some brown box videos. some more of those. They do take a little bit more time because they're generally at least a 3-camera setup in order to do an overhead and the breakdown. And really what I want brown box video to be is not an unboxing video, but more about how you take out, you know, a product and then you actually go out and use it. So they are a little bit more involved. I think we'll see more of those a little bit later in the year in terms of quantity of brown box videos. But honestly, the area that people have been most interested in is 1 to 3. And I haven't done a lot of those, but 1 to 3 is small to no crew production. And I think that for many of us out there, that is a reality of what we're dealing with, is a lot of small to no crew production. So I'd like to say a small crew is 10 or less people, and for some people that would be a small crew. I think we're really talking about 5 or less people, and in many cases 3 or less people as our small to no crew production. Yeah, Robert, the color science on the C300 Mark II, not really wonky. I think it's just really understanding the different options that you have in there when you go into the camera system. I've done some education in the C300 Mark II series that I did when the camera first came out. I'm thinking that if I can get a hold of the camera again, I'll go through and just do a mini lesson on how all of those different things work when you're choosing your essentially, you know, your different options having to do with your gamma curve, you're choosing your color space or color gamut, and then also your color matrix. And so I'll try to do that. Boinks is not, is it subscription based, Tim? I'm not 100% sure. I think you can just buy a seat, but yeah, no, I think you do. You buy it based on the type of user that you are, and then there is some sort of subscription on it. Robert wants to also know if shooting with the ARRI ProRes, maybe the colors would be a bit more pleasing. It's not really about the codec, it's about the color science in the camera system and sort of the way they have tuned the camera. So if you shot in RAW on an Alexa and then you turn it into a video signal at some point, ProRes for instance, you should be getting something that's similar to actually just shooting in ProRes with log C and wide color gamut. It doesn't mean that your master file wouldn't have more information if you shot RAW, but I think for most people shooting in ProRes natively with the camera system would make a lot of sense. Look, I think again C300 Mark II can produce really, really nice images. I tend to actually like them more than something like an FS7 out of the box, though there's a lot of information in that image that's captured as well, and you can do a lot with it. But there is just something about that secret sauce that's inside of the Alexa and the whole ARRI family of cameras that if you understand how to work with log and you understand how to work with, you know, a wide color gamut and then get that to, for most of us right now, Rec 709, and that could be a LUT workflow, you know, working with looks, or it could be full-on color grading, then, you know, you're going to get some amazing results. But that said, C300 Mark II, if you understand how that camera works and you set it up the right way, you should consistently be able to get some really, really lovely images. Canon has good color science. Maybe not as good as ARRI does, but they do have some good color science there, and you can get some really great images. And a lot of it is also dictated by the type of shooting you're doing and what kind of stuff you're doing. And there you go. I started blabbing again. We got a few more questions in. About the 32.5-minute mark. And while Tim is down under and starting his day, or has started a while ago, I am just about to end my day here in Mississauga. I don't know about Barry. Barry is around the corner somewhere in this. Well, you know what? Mississauga is friggin' humongous, by the way. It's like the sprawl of cities, about 800,000 people, right outside of Toronto, which is a sizable city. We drove by or through a great ethnic area earlier on, where, you know, whereas in the States by me, if I go to a certain area, it might be predominantly Korean, or I go somewhere else and it's predominantly, you know, Indian. There's not a big Indian community. There is in New York, but not in New Jersey. But here, the area I was in Mississauga, it was fantastic. It was just like every ethnic background and different types of restaurants and food stores, and I love that kind of stuff. All right, that's just the foodie in me. Sorry for blabbing, everybody. I appreciate you coming to this episode. This is, in fact, because Tim is living in the future and it's already Friday there, this will be Friday's episode. I will be back on Monday, either with a live stream or something else. And it's 2:30 p.m. there already? What the hell's going on over there? Oh, that's right, because I might go to Singapore in a few weeks, and Singapore is actually earlier than you because of the way the time zones work around the world. This whole thing is just crazy. We'll work it out. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this particular episode. And please, again, visit thec47.com. I sound like a radio guy here. And subscribe to the channel and all of that good stuff. If you have more questions that are not going to be asked during the live streams, then please send me an email through thec47.com. Basically, just fill out the contact form, which is the same thing. I get it in my email box. And I will see you all. Wait, I got another comment. It is super multicultural in Mississauga. Based on your first and last name, Barry. Yes, totally. And tell me one place that I need to eat here at some point when I come back that has just fantastic food. I'm going to say Asian food. You send me something about that. And agreed on all points. Look, we're still going. Okay, Barry's in Toronto now. Bedtime also. Robert says, agreed on all points. Love the C300 Mark II, especially as a solo shooter or two-man band. I have the new Zacuto bass plate. Yeah, the new one is nice. It really does what I wanted mine to do, just slide for days. Yeah, it can be a good shoulder camera. I mean, my good buddy Matt Porwall, who shot Cartel Land and is, you know, a feature-length documentary shooter. He shot Cartel Land, him and the director, on two C300s, and now he's shooting the majority of the stuff that he's doing on the C300 Mark II, though he is shooting with other camera systems as well, and he has shot Sony and ARRI and everything else under the sun. Till next time, everybody, I think I am actually going to sign off now, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys coming. I guess these evening ones can work as well, and thanks for watching.